You are listening to Zen and the Art of Triathlon.
Well, hey there, all you triathlon studs and studettes, and welcome to another great episode of Zen and the Art of Triathlon, the podcast where we go long on endurance and learn a lot about ourselves along the way. All right, on today's show, a Norseman racer and finisher, pro triathlete John Hirsch. Most people are aware of the Norseman Triathlon. It's an Ironman distance race, but it is beyond epic. It starts off in a fjord in Norway, probably starting to swim around orcas. They jump off of a ferry, swim the 2.4 miles, and then bike in some of the most epic scenery all the way to a mountain. And then they try to run up the mountain and get to the top. And if you make it all the way to the top, you get a special t-shirt. And basically all you get is the shirt and a whole lot of glory. It is a very difficult triathlon to get into. It's a very difficult triathlon to compete and complete. So we talk all about how he actually got into it, how the race went down. There's lots of good tips in there about how to stay warm and also how to stay conscious, which is something to know how to do that will be helpful at Norseman. And then the second half of the interview, we talk about all kinds of things like where the sport is headed, how he has maintained and possibly improved his swimming, whether he's actually a pro anymore or not, and all kinds of great topics. Even do a little bit of gravel talk about, when are we going to start seeing more triathlons that include gravel bikes? And so many people have gravel bikes. And it's just a really, really great all-around interview. And because the interview is so in-depth, we're not going to do a training log at the end of it. We'll save that for another episode. But in the training log next episode, I'll talk about some new gear that I have. I have a new helmet that I want to talk about that you might enjoy. And then also I have a Garmin watch repair that was really interesting. And we're going to see how that goes down. Kai has gone off to Texas State and San Marcos, which I would call the Durango of Texas. The cycling there is epic. And he's joined the cycling team there and is already doing some of the most vertical elevation gain rides I've seen him ever do. And he's absolutely loving it. So we'll have lots of that with him. I'm going to next weekend try to go ride with him and we'll see if I survive. He's an incredible mountain biker. And it's already tough enough for me to keep up with him around here. And he said the trails there are far beyond what we experience here as far as technical skills required. But first, we're going to do a little bit of triathlon news. Also mention some donors to the show. Got Tracy Ash, Michael Radogna, Brett Hoyer, and Kelly Harper have all joined in supporting Zen and the Art of Triathlon. It's easy to do. You can go to zentriathlon.com and look for the link on the bottom left to subscribe to support the show. It's an easy PayPal recurring donation that you can set any amount that you want. And I think it's currently set at almost $4, which is like $1 a week. And speaking of that, if you want to advertise or support the show, reach out to me at texafornia@gmail.com and you can join the legacy of some of the many, many, many sponsors that we've had on the show and enjoyed terrific results. We've had Sunto, Salt Stick, Orange Mud, BMC, Zip, Velosurance, DeSoto wetsuits. You're in good hands if you're on ZenTri. And again, the email is texafornia@gmail.com, TEXAFORNIA, texafornia@gmail.com. But let's go ahead and move on from that and do some triathlon news. So a cool thing to know about 70.3 World Championships is they move it around. A few years back, I almost qualified when I raced Half Ironman Austin, and I think the 70.3 Worlds were Were they in South Africa or Austria? I can't remember, but they were very far away, which made it easier to get a spot, I think. They were rolling down, which makes it easier to qualify for Worlds if the race is far away, because not as many people will take those slots because it's a big travel ask of you. But this year, they were in Finland. And if you're looking at a globe and you pointed down with 3 fingers, kind of, then Norway would be the one furthest to the west. Sweden is in the middle. And then you have a lengthy gulf. And then you have Finland. And Finland's right up next to Russia. And let's go ahead and do ladies first. Taylor Knibb from United States got a 3:53. And then it goes down to Kat Matthews from Great Britain with a 3:57. And then Imogen, is that how you say her name? Simmons, which is Swiss, and she got a 3:57 as well. Just 1 second. So that was a sprint finish for second and third right there. And then with the men's race, with a surprise winner from Germany, Rico Bogen. And he was only 22 years old. And then looking at the results, the first person that I see that is very famous is Sam Long, and he was all the way down in 12th. We've got a lot of Germans, France, German, Netherlands, Great Britain. We got Mark Dubrick from the USA, Thor Bendix from Denmark, Bendix Madsen. And the thing to know is there was a bit of controversy at this race because Lionel Sanders was in this race, but he's not in the results. Why not? Well, it turns out he got disqualified for crossing over onto the other side of the road when he was passing people. And the controversy is, well, there was no line painted in the road, but also the roads are very narrow in Europe compared to the United States. And it's kind of up to the motorcycle judges on whether it was a safe pass or not. And reading the story, I was still on the side of Lionel Sanders about it. And it's like, if there's not enough room and it's a narrow road and you got to pass a whole bunch of people, well, then go all the way over to the other side of the road. Because I talk about this with all the gravel biking and the Vario radar that I've got on the back of my bike. It allows me to ride on the other side of the road so I can ride in the shade and stuff. And it's generally safe on a small, quiet road. Well, it's deceiving, actually, that a narrow road in Europe is a quiet road with no traffic, because all their roads are narrow and it could have traffic on it. It was apparently could possibly have been an open road. And I'm still kind of like, okay, yeah. And then when they said that actually he was going into a turn and that made it unsafe, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, I guess that warrants a ticket of sorts from the judges. But it turns out it's a red card and you're out of the race, which I think is a little much, but that's the way the race rules go down. And Lionel Sanders made a post on social media about it, and it's definitely frustrating, I'm sure. But when it comes down to this stuff, we've got to be safe. I've been doing a lot of gravel racing lately, and there was a gravel racer that was killed. And there's more accidents than you hear about in the news, but he was killed because gravel races are on small country roads, but they don't close the roads down. And you can get into a tight turn going high speed down a hill, and there's an intersection at the bottom, and you're not expecting a car because there's hardly ever a car, but there is a car. So you got to be safe. And moving on from that is there was 2 deaths in an Ironman in Ireland. And this is a tragedy that was due to the swim conditions. The deaths that have been happening for years, off and on occasion, in swimming in Ironmans, they figured out that those are caused by hitting cold water too fast. And then what that does is your body creates a reaction to the cold water and elevates your blood pressure. And then with the tightness of the wetsuit around your neck, that can cause this feedback loop that just makes it worse and worse and worse. And then people pass out or they have a stroke or whatever happens. It's a known thing in these fast mass starts in the water. And that's why Ironman years ago switched to the gradual starts where you walk in and do a nice gradual start along with everybody else, strung out in a line. And people both don't like it because you don't have the mass starts, but I actually do like it, even though my background is swimming, because I didn't pay $800 to be in a scrum swim. I want to enjoy my swim. But then you don't really know, like, if you're racing somebody at the finish line, like how far ahead or behind they actually started and whether you're actually beating them or not, which is a downside. But of course, I'd rather just be alive. So that's an upside. That is not what caused the swim deaths in this Ironman, allegedly. It was rough water conditions, and I think they already changed the swim course once, and they went ahead and did the race, and then the water was still too rough, and a couple people drowned. And it just goes to show that Ironman triathlons are technically considered an extreme sport, and that is always something to remember. Keep that in your back pocket. Triathlon is an extreme sport. It's one of the earliest extreme sports, along with surfing. And it's really risky out there, so everybody needs to be safe, okay? I've always said with triathlons that it drives me crazy that Ironman does not require any kind of qualifications before you sign up and start your race. I think that you should have to do some open water swimming and show some results and work your way up before you do an Ironman, so that they know that you're going to be safe out there and you've got some experience on both the swim and the bike. And then also when you get out there on the run, you've got experience with being exhausted and know what you're doing and how to help yourself not get into trouble out there. But all we can do is just give advice and remember that. And if you get in trouble in the water, try not to panic and raise your hand and try to get some help. Okay, but anyway, let's move on from that and try to get into some happier content. And let's go ahead and start talking to our guest for today's show, John Hirsch, all about the Norseman Triathlon, what it was like and what it took to get there. Here we go. All right, I'm here with the amazing John Hirsch, pro triathlete extraordinaire, who just did Norseman. Do I call you Norseman?
I believe I am a Norseman. Yeah,
you are a Norseman.
Yeah.
So do they say Norseman, or is it my Southern slang doing Norseman?
Based on your height and your complexion, I imagine, however you say it has the Viking souls.
However I say it's probably all right. But then, interesting thing about Vikings is they spread all over the world a lot more than what we originally thought. So if you're European, you're probably some percentage Viking.
Yeah, I'm 7%. I found out.
Really?
So, yeah,
that's cool, dude.
Yeah, without having any actual just direct ancestors from Scandinavia, I'm 7%.
Yeah,
they get around.
Yeah, anybody that has son in their name is that's Viking, actually, by the way. So like obviously like Ericsson, but a lot of people have you can look it up, you can Google like Viking name extensions that they've kept over the years. and then Thursday is Thor's Day.
Yeah. All the Freya is Friday.
Yeah, it's
Odin.
awesome.
Odin is Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I think Tuesday is Tyr. So yeah.
Oh yeah, cool.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are all Viking gods.
Yeah, awesome. Well, okay, so Norseman it's an Ironman distance, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is.
It's extremely rugged. It's considered like one of the hardest, if not the hardest, Ironmans out there. Ironman distance triathlons. It's not Ironman brand, which we're going to
No, they very much aren't.
They're very much not. So we'll get into that. That's a pretty cool thing. And then, but it's like hard to get into it. And it's extremely rugged terrain, which is part of the deal. And there's other it's put on by ZenTri, right? And so
Yep.
there's some other ones around the world, but they go like all in on it being nuts, like Patagonia Man
Yeah. Canada,
and
Swiss
Canada.
man, Kelp man has now become big
Oh,
enough. They
yeah.
don't eat. They have to have a wait list too. I believe there's the Iron Cowboy has one in Utah,
Hmm.
um, but I don't believe it's got a different name and I'm spacing it. But yeah, so there's one in Utah. They're bonkers. I don't know how many there are worldwide, but there's definitely a need for it. There's Nepal has a race, an extra race.
Whoa, I
Yeah,
didn't know that. Wow.
yeah. I mean, their goal is to kind of bring that next level challenge that
Hmm.
kind of like this
So
is crazy. Iron Man was cool, but hold my beer kind of vibe.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So for people that don't know, John and I go way back, probably 15 years of uh, being on podcasts together, in person, putting on training camps together. So if you're kind of like, man, these guys really do. How does Brett know this guy so well? It goes way, way, way back. Been to
Yeah,
Spain
I'm part of.
together.
I
Yeah.
have an ongoing segment on your show called Live from the Pro Rack, and
Oh, live from the pro rack.
I
Yeah.
even guessed host you.
Wait, we lost you for a second. You
Oh,
even
Dan,
guessed.
you froze. All right.
Okay. Sorry, we had a audio video technicalities. So we turned off video so we can capture the audio better. So you were saying you were a guest host. We had a segment called From the Pro Rack.
Yep. That was my segment on your show. And then
Mhm.
at some point, I interviewed you. I took over your show and ran it. I got 1 week on your show.
I
And
remember that.
and then I interviewed you. And it was
Yeah.
it was fantastic. I did a great job.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody was
Yeah.
everybody's clamoring for that again.
Oh yeah. We might do that. And then
Yeah.
you actually
Open.
stayed at my house more than once, I'm sure. And then you just saw Kai for the first time. And the last time you were here, remember we were riding on rollers in the living room, and he was just a little kid running around the living room.
Yeah, I do remember. No, I used to come down there for a week or like
Yeah.
9 days
Oh, and
every
train. Yeah.
train to get like my warm weather training. And I did it out of
Yeah.
your house, man. I would ride 100 miles and then we'd go to Freebirds.
Yes. And then and I still live in the realm of Castlegate. This
I love the realm.
like a Texas imitation of a European village, of an English village.
It's amazing. There's like griffins and stuff. It's I don't think people understand just how Disney amazing it is.
We come in through a castle, remember? We drive
Yeah,
in.
there's a castle with a griffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
A
gosh. Okay.
mythical bird monster.
Yes. I'm so
It's
into it. So Norseman, I
Yes.
thought, when Norseman first came out, I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I'm like, okay, it's really far away, like Norway. And me being more Swedish than anything, it's like, oh, I could probably tie that into going to Sweden. And I think I could because Kai and my mom went to Sweden about 5 years ago and
Cool.
just stayed with a whole bunch of family.
Oh, that's
And so I've got a ton of family there apparently. So it's like been on my radar kind of as a thing to do, but then the wait list is like, oh man, what are we gonna do about this wait list? But the wait list is because the triathlon is so freaking awesome. So tell us more about like what's like, how did you get in, and then what's the race like, and then how did you do?
Okay, so yeah, there's two things about this. So let me start with the getting in process, because
Yeah.
as hard as the race is, getting in is almost as hard. They limit it to I think about 300, 350-ish people.
Oh, wow.
Everybody, right, and everybody wants to do it. So I was on the ferry to the start. They could have easily done a rectangle swim, but instead, just to make it even more epic, they
Mhm.
take you in a boat, 4K offshore, and they
Mhm.
they dump you in the water so you can swim against the tide and the waves the whole way back. It's epic.
Oh, really? It's against the current and the.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's different on different years, but the year I
Yeah.
did it was definitely against the current and
Oh
against
my
waves.
God. And so
It was
what part of Norway is it in? Is it far north or is it southern or central?
No, it's called Einfjord. It's it starts in Einfjord. The course is point to point. So you
Right.
finish 140 miles away from where you start.
Oh my God.
And that's a meaningful chunk of the country. So you actually traverse from west to east across this giant plateau. I mean, first you have to climb up the giant plateau, then you go across the giant plateau, which is high. It's like 3,000 feet, I think. And then you go down, and then you go up over another mountain, and then you go down, then you go up over another mountain. Then eventually you come off the plateau. But so this starts in a place called Einfjord, and it's about 2-3 hours from Bergen, which is the most west kind of bigger city. For those of you who are Viking fans, that's near Kattegat, the Vikings TV show, just south of Kattegat. And then, which is also about 4 to 5 hours from Oslo, which is like the most southern part of Norway. Then, but the getting in part, let me just get back to that because it's bonkers. On the boat ride out, I think I talked to like 3 or 4 people like kind of who were standing next to me, and all of them had been trying to get in for 5 years or longer. Yeah. So apparently you put your name in on the lottery, they do a live drawing on the internet, and everybody watches it. It's apparently like a part of the tradition. And then you so then you get in, and then after 5 years you get 2 names put in, like they double your chances. And I think maybe after 10 years you get another bump. But most people apparently don't get in the first 5 years. It's that hard to get in. There's that many people that want to do it. It's truly that sought after as a kind of bucket list race. And then, but they also became the ZenTri Tour. So Norseman was so popular, they realized that other people wanted this kind of extreme Ironman challenge, this really difficult, funky, extra hard style racing. So they franchised it out, and so I got a spot at Canada Man, is how I got a spot, similar to how Kona does it, right? Like everyone wants to go to Kona, so they have a lottery, but you can also get in through Lake Placid or whatever other Ironman.
Yeah. So it's like performance based at another one that's not as backed up with a waiting list. If you can get in,
right? So
you can qualify for the Norseman.
There's 2 ways into the race, exactly. Okay. So those are the. But it's hard. I mean, it's definitely hard to get into. That's for sure. So anyways, I got in through Canada Man. I did that race in 2020.
So where's Canada Man?
Canada Man is in Quebec. It finishes at the top of a 3,000, 4,000 foot mountain with a observatory on the top, which is awesome. And then and it's got like 10,000 feet of climbing on the bike. The swim took place in the dark. The whole thing was also equally epic, actually. In some ways, I would say they're comparable in terms of difficulty. They're just different. They're like kind of different. They're different.
What time of year is Canada Man at?
So the first time I did it, because of COVID, it was actually, they put it in October, and that was like 35 degrees and really interesting.
Yeah.
The water was like 45 degrees. It was wild.
My God. Yeah.
The second, but now it's traditionally held July 4th weekend.
Okay.
Which in Canada means absolutely nothing.
We need to get that out there.
Yeah, just in case you were wondering.
Just in case.
Nobody cares in Canada that it's July 4th weekend. To them, that's a week that they put the race on.
That's awesome. Okay. So now I'm getting a better feel for like how. Okay. And then, so people might not know, I did kind of like a baby cousin, not blood related, to Norseman. Is the only other place I've seen a Norseman shirt is the SOS Triathlon in New York.
Yes,
it's very similar in a weird way.
Yeah, SOS is kind of this definitely like intentionally challenging. They don't try to nerf it in any way.
Yeah, mountaintop finish.
Mountaintop finish.
Yeah, half Ironman distance, or like kind of like a longer half Ironman.
Yeah, it's a weird one because there's like 5 swims, 5 runs, and
so I've done that twice, and it's point to point, like what you said, and so I kind of got an idea a little bit of like what it's kind of like. So then, and that's the only place I've seen a Norseman shirt.
Oh yeah,
was somebody that had that on, and I was like, oh my God, there's a Norseman here.
Yeah. I think it's going to attract the same people, right? There's this kind of growing or always present counterculture to mainstream triathlon.
Yeah.
And I think there's a group of athletes like me who are always going to try to find those weird, fun, off the beat path events. Whether it's, for me, it was Israel Man, this like brutally hard Ironman in Israel that also has a zillion feet of climbing through a desert with wind, or Savage Man is a famously weird half Ironman race with a 30-something% climb that they have like people on ropes to catch you when you fall off your bike. There's all these great races.
You were also like age group champion at like some kind was it a Spartan thing at Lake Tahoe?
Oh, so actually that's another whole like career. I spent 3 years racing Spartan ultras.
Yeah.
My best result was third overall, but they had at the time a thing called Masters Elite.
Yeah.
So if you were a pro but over 40, you won a special prize, and the prize was money. So it was cool.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that for a while, and that was definitely very good for getting ready for these XTri off-road marathons. These. That's my alarm to remind me that I'm talking to you.
Hello.
But yeah, there's definitely these really.
Keep talking, John.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Okay, cool. So we lost our internet for a second.
No worries.
Yeah, we're switching over in our neighborhood to fiber.
Okay.
And I think the switching off and on as they're trying to get more people hooked up, like throttles the network.
Oh.
So anyway, so all the Spartan stuff got you ready for the XTri kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, just running on weird courses on tired legs is something that I definitely but mostly it's just the vibe. I just I'm really at this point in my life, I really just want to run through the woods and be a weirdo.
Right.
Like
definitely that. I did a lot of that at Huntsville State Park at the Rocky Raccoon. It's the best. It is the best.
Yeah, man. I'm older. I still have all this endurance. I don't quite have the top speed, but like, I don't know. Let's power hike up a 6,000-foot mountain at the end of an Ironman. Why not?
Yeah. So on race day, you jump off of a ferry and you swam against the tide.
Yes, and
it was dark. It's dark when you start, right? Then you swim.
Yeah, it's pretty much dark the whole time. They light a fire on the shore to swim towards.
What?
Yeah, that part's epic.
Wait, dude, what? This was. Well, how's it dark like the whole time? Wasn't it just this?
Eventually, but it's in a fjord, right? So it's a 5,000-foot mountain.
Oh, it's in the shadow. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't. Even though I think daybreak around there is like 4 a.m. or 3:30 in the morning that time of year.
Yeah,
it doesn't get light for another 3 hours because you're in this shadow of the valley.
Sun shadow, mountain shadow. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so then that's interesting. Okay, so then now I have watched some footage of it from like years previous. I purposefully did not, when I saw that you did Norseman and you enjoyed it and everything, I purposely don't know any details. I'm not even exactly sure what place you got and everything. So okay. I have a genuine reaction like when I interview you.
Amazing.
Okay. Amazing. So and I held back on purpose so that I could go into this like going like, holy crap. So remember, like I didn't even know that you had. I was like, where's the shirt? And you're like, dude, it's on my Instagram. And just go over a couple more slides. And I was like, oh, there it is. Okay. Because the most important thing in the world is the shirt.
Yes. This is one of the only races where I think I actually cared about the finisher shirt. Yeah. At least to this degree.
Yeah.
And we can get into that if you want. But the point is the top 130 or 160 finishers, I forget which it is, get a black shirt and usually get to go to the top of the mountain. But for safety reasons, after 130 they close, or 160 they close the mountaintop, and those finishers turn around and finish the marathon distance by going back down the mountain to the second finish. And the top finish is the black finish and the bottom finish is the white finish. Yeah. And your t-shirt, your finisher t-shirt reflects which one you were in a really brutal kind of way.
Yeah. I remember at the SOS Triathlon, you get a finisher's towel, right?
Yeah.
And then apparently in town, the towels are so legendary, like at the swimming pool area. Like if somebody tries to use your towel and they're not an SOS triathlete finisher, you give them crap. You're like, you can't use this towel. You didn't do the triathlon. Yeah.
I will say back in the Ironman days when they give the first 10 finishers really big towels.
Uh-huh.
And I remember my first top 10 at Louisville, and I got the
Mhm.
big towel,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh hell yes,
Yeah.
I got the big towel. And
Hmm.
I still to this day probably have it somewhere.
I bet you do, dude.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Okay,
packed away
so
somewhere in the scrapbook.
you started to swim,
Yes.
and what was the water temp, you think?
Um, like I think it's like 15 degrees Celsius, they said, which is
Mhm.
cold, like real freaking cold,
Yeah.
like 50s ish. I think
Hmm.
I would be my guess, like somewhere between like 50 and 55.
Yeah. That's
It was,
Alcatraz
yeah,
temps. Yeah.
it's cold enough that they spray you with cold water so you don't have a heart attack when you jump in.
Right.
You have to
That's a
jump
smart
off a
idea.
15-foot boat. Yeah, the jump in
Yeah.
is 15 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I remember at Alcatraz when we jumped in, you hit the water, and it's kind of like those diving birds, when you see video of that. You go down, and then you see other people like splashing in around you and just hoping that nobody hits you. And then eventually, with all the bubbles coming in as people are piercing the water, and
Yeah.
then you come up to the surface and try to get your head above water as fast as you can because it's so cold that
Yeah.
you want to build up some body heat first before you start dipping your head in. So you've got a wetsuit sponsor? What wetsuit did you wear?
Yeah. Xterra wetsuits. I've been with them
Sweet.
for my whole career, and I
Awesome.
got their baddest wetsuit, and it was totally fine. I was very comfortable. I also got their gloves and cap,
Oh,
which I
okay.
recommend. Yeah,
Yeah.
and booties. Yeah.
So, oh, you swam with booties on too. Is that cold?
Yeah, yeah, dude. It's cold, cold.
Yeah. I've seen people come out of the water, right? And just GCN, one of the announcers for GCN did it a couple years ago.
Yes, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. And so that made for really good video coverage because they do a good job. And so
Yeah. Sure.
just coming out of the water, Kelpman too, they come out of the
Mm-hmm.
water just shivering and like
Yeah.
trying to warm up. And some people quit right there.
Well, you can't warm up. That's a
Yeah.
myth because
And
it's
it's like
35.
overcast, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 35 degrees and raining when you get out of the water, or 35 degrees and overcast, or whatever, or 40
Yeah.
degrees.
So there is no warming
You
up.
don't you. But luckily, they do have an answer for that, which is a like 3,000-foot climb out of T1
Yeah. That'll do it.
through like all those like switchbacks, and you climb for about 2 hours. The
Wow.
first 2 hours of the bike literally you could ride you use your small chain ring only. You could,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, and you're like sitting up and you're working hard it's 2 hours of straight up climbing. You don't, yeah, I think it's like, you don't see flat until you're like, I don't know, 40K or something into the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we got this warning for 10 minutes left, but we'll start another meeting. So in a little bit. So then, what place did you come out of the water in?
I think I was told I was 15th.
Okay. That's
So
really nice.
yeah. I mean, I'm going up against really, and also I've gone pretty easy. I had found myself in a pack of like very competent swimmers, and I
Mhm.
was sitting behind them. So I decided to go easy and not push the swim because
Mhm.
so I just was strategic about it. But it was like a low ZO2 swim for me, which was great. So to come out 15th and have done no work
Right.
was also felt really good because I knew it was going to be a long day.
Yeah. Because I know
Yeah.
like if I'm doing a race that's going to be really hard at the end, and that's any Ironman for me because of the run, but to go like really easy on the swim, because with Norseman, you've got that, it's just uphill like so much.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you came out 15th. Were you freezing cold coming out of the water and needed to warm up on the bike, shivering, or were you?
Well, I was freezing
Right.
cold, but I knew that it didn't matter. So I learned this in Canada, man, with the year that I did it in October because it was so cold. There's no getting warm. You just have to change as quickly as you can and start biking. The only way to get to warm up is like inner heat, right? So you have to and this actually becomes more important later out of T2, but out of T1, I knew it. So it turns out I had a pretty good transition time. And I think I got out on the bike even farther up than I came out of the water. So that was good. I passed some people, I think, in transition. And then out on the bike, we started climbing, and it became obvious that there were some very serious athletes there. And
Sebastian Kienle was there, like
he
Ironman world champion.
Yep.
However many years ago. And then Tim DeBoom.
Yeah, he had won the race. He'd won Kona twice, and he had done that. He had after winning Kona done Norseman, not this year, but in years past. And the Ultraman world champion was there. Actually, I ended up having breakfast with him by coincidence.
Who's that?
Jordan, from Canada. Jordan Byrne. I'm gonna get his last name wrong. But his first name's Jordan. Really nice guy.
How old? Is it the guy Byrne? Gordo Byrne?
No, he's also a famous Ultraman guy.
Yeah.
But
way older.
Yeah, but no, it's hold on. I can't remember his name.
Gordo Byrne is the guy that I looked up. He published so much info.
Barden, Bryen, Burnden, Jordan Burnden. Okay. But yeah, he was second in Canada. He's a badass. He won Ultraman. He was there. He went on. He's an amazing swimmer, like phenomenal swimmer. So there were like some really good, good athletes. Yeah. And anyways, and a lot of them decided to just crush me on the bike. So the first. By the time I got to let's just put it this way. By the time I got to the top of that climb, I was like, I had to reassess my goals, because I kind of went to this thinking like it's a bucket list race. I want to do it. Who knows how it'll go? I just want to have a good day. Mm-hmm. And then I came out of the water and they were like, you're 15th. And I was like, oh man.
Oh, now you got to race it.
Yeah. You get lollygag when you're top 15 at a world championship.
Yeah.
Right. This is the world championships. I want to go. So I start riding, but then by the time we got to the top of the climb, I suspect I was not in the top, 30 anymore. The first climb, and then out on the flat section, it continued to go from bad to worse. But it was gorgeous, and the next couple of climbs again continued to see me losing places. My biking is just not at the level as some of these other, really top athletes. And then,
what kind of bike were you on?
Oh, I was on a Valdora, but they're unfortunately out of business. So it's a good bike. Great bike, but it wasn't the bike's fault. And
what about wheels and stuff?
Oh, nothing fancy, just stock.
Are you still riding tubulars? Have you switched over to clinchers, tubeless?
I never was a tubular guy. I'm clinchers all the way. Team clincher, 100%.
Oh, you were tubular for a while.
I wasn't.
Whatever.
For me,
I'm assigning this to you. It's
okay. Well, it's still
not true. Okay. I swear, man, you told me one time to ride tubulars or something. Anyway,
possible. I told you that, but I definitely never did it.
You're trying to get me to slow down. So, okay, so nothing special on a bike, right? Just like
no. The only thing of note is the following huge misfire by me.
Yeah.
Which is after all this climbing, you descend for the last 20 miles.
Right.
And because it's a descent into T2, you have your own, this is kind of weird, but you have your own support car, kind of like the Tour de France.
Yeah. I was going to ask you if you still do that.
Yeah. So I sent my car after the 152K mark, right? So with about 28K to go, or approximately 30 miles, you have no more feeds. So my car went ahead. And right after that happened, it started pouring.
Yeah.
And I didn't grab my raincoat. And this was a huge time I got to the bottom. I was so unbelievably hypothermic. I was shivering so violently on the descent that I couldn't keep control of the bike. I had to go 10 miles an hour downhill so that I didn't go off the road. And at this point, 30 people just came screaming by me. Thankfully, none of them hit me. But all of them had raincoats, and I was so bummed because I got to the bottom, and in T2, my team support guy comes up to me, and he doesn't say anything, but I can look at him looking at me, and he looks terrified at what he's looking at, which apparently is me, which is not good. I am now the wrong color. I'm later told I'm incoherent. I'm shaking violently.
Did anybody get video footage of it for you to see something?
No, he actually was going to, and then he thought that it was
concerning.
Yeah, he was he didn't want the dead. Why people don't out of respect take photos of corpses, right? It's not.
Yeah, they're
that's what was. Yeah,
they need to focus on keeping you alive, not taking pictures of you.
Well, that was the other thing. So the medical staff sees me, and apparently I'm wandering the wrong way.
That's good. That's a good move.
and they come up to me, but apparently
That's a strong move in Norseman. Start walking off in the okay.
So
Go
the
ahead.
medical staff, but like to them, incoherent English is just how Americans talk,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
they don't, and then I manage. I think I like in the back of my recesses, I'm like, how do I wanted to continue, right? So I'm like, how do I trick them? And I give
Mhm.
a 2 thumbs up. And to a European, 2 thumbs up is like the get out of jail free card of all get out of jail free cards. So like, oh, 2 thumbs up, everything must be fine.
Oh,
You
super
know,
fine. Yeah.
two
Okay.
thumbs up, he must be
Yeah.
totally okay. So I then get turned around and go back out the right way. I start to like hobble really quickly because I don't want them to change their
Mhm.
minds. And so I sneak out of transition and I start running. And I'm
Uh,
still wearing at this point everything I own, even
yeah.
though I'm, and eventually like 5K in, I stop shaking and I start to like, again, it's that you got to just start moving. Like you
That's true.
can't,
Yeah, you're right.
it's the only thing that gets you going is like, is work. So unfortunately at this point I've lost a zillion spots and I've definitely am not running my best run, but
Uh,
I'm moving. Like I feel good. I mean, like I'm,
uh,
or not good, but I'm like I'm not walking. Like I'm
uh,
out there running and I'm, I'm passing people and competitive again, and that felt good. And not being on the bike freezing felt good. And the first half of the run is actually the easiest part of the course. It's like, I don't know, 15 miles or so of flat. It's not a
mhm.
big deal. But then you get to a place that they call Zombie Hill, and that's the base of the mountain.
Yeah.
So the first, I don't know, 15K of the climb is this Zombie Hill and it's paved. And
Mhm.
at that point, I'm feeling better and better. So I start power walking. I'm passing people. I'm pretty good at
Cool.
like hiking and not getting demoralized. I think a lot of triathletes, if they, once they start walking in an Ironman, they do this like stroll of like dejection. They're
Mhm.
just sad that they're not running. I'm supposed to. It's not swim, bike, walk. It's swim, bike, run. Like
Yeah.
they do this really, really like mopey, sad, self-loathing stroll of,
Yeah.
and that's so slow compared to like a strong power hike marching like a soldier.
All right.
And I've just
Hey,
learned.
wait, let's
Oh,
pause here. Let's pause here
yep.
and start up another meeting because I think
Okay.
we're gonna lose it.
Cool. Yeah, but I mean, I live in the five boroughs, so
True.
it's a
You
love song
get
to us. Why would we don't want Texans to like that album?
oh
That wasn't that album not for
it's
you.
not for you, man. Texans have enough crap that we name our own ourselves for
It is
ourselves.
actually fair.
It is
Yeah,
very fair. Yeah.
it's for us.
Okay, so we had technical difficulty. We're back online, and while I was fixing
We
stuff, well,
are.
one, we had a funny offline chat. We came up. John and I both probably have attention issues, and in the midst of our conversation, we came up with a good name for a cat. I came up with placebo. Would be a funny name. Panacea is yours.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. We have the important conversations here, and so and then also I remember, dude, when I did Wildflower, I swam too hard, and then I got into the transition area, and I wandered around and almost went down the wrong. I went the wrong way on the bike chute. I went out the end on the bike chute, and they had to turn me around.
That's amazing. But that's really hard to do because you're in like the bottom of like a bowl.
Yeah, I'm kind of gifted that way. Getting, I think a race. My hot take on what's wrong with races and everything is just putting people at turns and at every possible area where an athlete could go the wrong way, and then also making sure that person is proactive. Like this way, and not just stand there. Like they do sometimes. So. Okay, but anyway, you're on Zombie Hill.
Yeah, so we get
Yeah.
to Zombie Hill. I'm starting to feel better. I'm power hiking. Some people are doing that like dejected, sad stroll because that's in their minds. If they're not running, they're not racing.
They're in tourist mode now. You're like, I'm still racing.
Yeah, and I just have like this is kind of because I've done Canada Man, which is kind of along the same ilk where at one point winning that race for a long time, and I've had, some pretty good results there. And then at Spartan races, right? Like nobody runs the whole, I don't know, 40 miles or whatever it is. Like it's all, up and down giant ski mountains and stuff. So there's always, you expect to hike, you plan it. So anyway, so I'm hiking, I'm feeling good. One guy does go run by me, and then promptly about 50 meters ahead of me vomits everywhere. So I think
so you're like, that's the wrong strategy.
Yeah.
Don't run that fast.
Yeah. But yeah, but unfortunately we got, an hour and a half goes by. My team guy, my crew guy, John, who, by the way, big shout out to him, man. Like the only thing harder than doing Norseman is crewing for Norseman.
Yeah. How do they crew on the run? Like, how did they get ahead of you?
Yeah. I drove every mile and I pulled over, does a feed, drives, pulls over.
Oh, y'all aren't on the trail yet though. Cause like the end of the race is on a trail.
This is okay. We're supposed to hit the trail at 32K. They're allowed to join you. And then they have a pack, you have a pack, and you run up the rest of the way.
Yeah. I remember seeing all the packs in the finishing videos over the years. Yeah. Everybody's wearing some kind of camelback running.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's a packing list in there of mandatory stuff. And if anybody's going to do this race, two things. Everything they tell you to bring, you really actually need to bring. Like this isn't to like mess around with this stuff. They're not like, I remember they were like, you have to have bike lights of a certain illumination. And I was like, I'll just use my silly little crappy ones. And then I was like, you know what? They're Norwegian, they're Europeans. They're serious about rules. I'll get the good ones. And then I got there and I realized like I was going to be riding through a dark tunnel. I needed the real light. So they don't tell you to bring stuff unless you really need it. So anyways, so the backpack is filled with all this stuff like jacket, raincoat, emergency blanket, headlamp, stuff that's like survival stuff. So those packs are heavy, but they're critical. So anyways, but unfortunately me and him didn't get to go up to the top of the mountain because at the trailhead, which is approximately 5K to go, there had been lightning, so they turned everybody around. And so we all turned around and ran 5K downhill. Now, fortunately for me, because of the Spartan race stuff and some other things, I think I'm just a good downhill runner. So I actually opened up my stride and started feeling really good. I had a great downhill 5K. I probably maybe 5-10 people, which felt pretty good. So, and
then in this race, like I keep forgetting, like 5-10 people is a lot because it's only like 300 something people and they allow in. Yeah. Okay.
So anyways, I think I finished third American. I was, comfortably in the top 100. I probably could have snipped into the top 50 if I didn't have that hypothermic episode, but whatever. I'm pretty happy with the way it went. And I'm just really happy to have done this epic bucket list race. It's not like, I'm 48 years old now. It's not like,
oh Lord,
difference between being 20th or 90th at a world championship. You're at the championships, you're doing this cool thing, you're doing you're doing this epic race, and you just want to be done. And I felt great about crossing that finish line and doing this race that I've always dreamed about, and didn't ever think I would ever get a chance to do. So I'm really excited. So
if you get in next year, they're going to have to put handrails up there for you because you're so old now. Is there rope? Is there rope actually to hold on to in places? I mean, the mountain is sketchy looking and like rubble.
I don't think so, man. I think it's like,
there is something like there's no way down. Like you have everybody that goes up.
So you have to walk part of the way down, and then for the athletes there's a gondola, but for the crew guy, he has to run down, or she has to run down.
Oh my God. So do you get any kind of preferred entry next year, or is it all over again?
No.
You have to qualify.
I think so. Yeah. I actually don't know the answer to that. I mean, I think I would have to enter the lottery and all that, unless I do another race this year, which I am not doing another X-Tri race this year.
that was not this year. Yeah. That was enough.
That was enough.
Well, I guess if you did well enough at the Norseman, then you could come back, right? If you qualified.
I don't know if you qualify for Norseman at Norseman. I don't know the answer to that. The answer might be yes. I just don't know.
So I do know that if people want a similarly cold experience, Keltman is really freaking cold.
Yeah. Except this year where it was freakishly hot.
Oh, it was. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, they actually had people going like deep into the red and overheating this year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the locals are not used to heat, and apparently Europe had this crazy heat wave.
Yeah, like 80 degrees.
Everybody DNF because it was hot. Last year,
Yeah.
the year before that, everybody DNF because it was too cold.
It makes a huge difference. A strategy or a thing I've noticed here is we'll train all winter because we can in Texas, right? And then so we get really fit, and then the first hot race of the year, we completely melt down because we don't have the cold weather exposure, or we're too cold weather exposed.
Right.
And then it's all about blood. Your body's carrying too much blood plasma and all that stuff. So yeah. Okay. So what's your next race?
So I have a huge, to me, race that I'm locally, which is a sprint triathlon in Mahopac, New York, called the Triathlon. It's it honors a local kid who passed away from cancer, and it's really important to the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation, and I'm the coach of their sister organization, Team Continuum, which raises money in honor of that child. So November 16th, Mahopac, New York. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. If anybody listening is considering doing the race, give me a shout. I'll bring something special for you if you come.
So Team Continuum, and then your so it's called Tyman. Like, how do you spell that?
Triathlon, Tyathlon. Triathlon.
Oh, was the kid's name Ty or Ty? Yeah. Okay.
Tyler. So so it's great. The town goes bonkers for it. If you've never done a really community invested sprint triathlon, I've never seen a race where every part of the town is behind it, because everybody in the town knew the kid and knows the family. Yeah. So the police, the firemen, the local shops, the local athletes, every single person in this town on this day is all about this race. Wow. Like, it's really like, the high school cheerleading squads out there. Like, it's the coolest community event ever. And they've actually, even through just a small sprint triathlon, they've raised millions of dollars over the years. So
that's awesome.
It's amazing. So that's September 16th. I'm really excited about that. They'll probably finish off the season, and then we'll figure out 2024 sometime between now and 2024.
Right. So that's right. That's exactly what you'll do. So me too. The you also do coaching. So you do triathlon, running, and
all the above. So I've coached triathlon and as well as road cycling, because I'm I was at one point an okay road cyclist, and also running, because I was with the Spartan races, kind of did a stint as a pro runner. So definitely have a bunch of runners, a bunch of ultra runners, but mostly triathletes that I coach, and that's all off my website, johnhirsch.pro. All JOHNHIRSCH .pro. But
wait, you got a .pro domain?
I do have a .pro domain.
I can't have one of those. Damn.
Well, you don't have you didn't race pro for 15 years.
I got the towel, but I don't have the shirt, and I don't have the .pro.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Dang it.
I got a whole stack of US pro cards from over the years. So for the website. Or just $, I forget which it was.
That's such an awesome domain. I love it. Okay, so then oh, dude, I'm so jealous. That's so cool. So I didn't think about that, like, because they released a whole bunch of domain names, like it was like 10 years ago, 5 years ago. It's like a whole bunch of crazy stuff. They went nuts with it. I didn't see .pro in there. That is awesome. Okay, so we're gonna do hot takes. Okay. I gave you a little bit of heads up, and I'm gonna ask you a hot take towards the end with no heads up.
Ooh, I'm scared.
But okay, so what are like the things right now that you are the worst things about triathlon, and then the best things about triathlon?
Oh man, I forgot what I actually blasted you with a few ideas.
I know. Let me look it up. It's in our chat. Let's see.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay, so does it have to be one, or can I have a few?
You can have a few. I'm seeing a few. You went like a paragraph.
The number one thing that kind of hurts my heart is just a little like institutional memory and history the sport's been able to retain. And so I love in cycling and marathoning too now, where they have these like epic classics, right? These monuments of their sport, In cycling, it's the Tour de France, it's Paris-Roubaix, it's the classics. In marathoning, it's New York, it's Boston, it's Paris, it's, London, it's Berlin,
Mhm.
these races
London Marathon, even Houston's got a famous marathon for because it's so flat. Yeah.
these famous races
Yeah.
are developing their own history. And
Mhm.
triathlon just doesn't care. Like, like you mentioned Wildflower, that was one of the great races of all time. And
Yeah.
it vanished, right? It's gone, it slowly died, and now it's gone. Or even, they've moved Kona, they're moving half of the world championships off of Kona. And, races like Louisville, Ironman Louisville, these races that were big deals are just, started to had a decade of history are just gone now. And I'm really sad to see that these, a few of them are kind of still around. Placid obviously has this very long history of being the first, it used to be called Ironman USA. And I did it the first year they had it in 99. And, that race has survived, but like, there's nothing guaranteeing it will. Right. So
Right.
I just feel that there isn't more institutional history kind of in the sport. And we haven't developed these kind of,
Yeah. A lot of people don't even know that where they are having the, is it the men's is in Nice?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that apparently, it was before my time, but Nice was like huge in the Ironman world. Like it was Mike Pigg and with Mark Allen and stuff won Nice all the time.
Wasn't a full Ironman. It was the Nice Triathlon, and it was its own distance, and it was a little shorter than Kona, but it was and it was like a month before. So it's everybody did that. Everybody did Kona, and everybody did Zofingen, Powerman Zofingen, famous duathlon in Switzerland. Those were the three big races of the 80s, and Kona was the only one that didn't have prize money. So the other two were actually kind of more important back then.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Imagine Kona wasn't a big deal compared to Nice and a duathlon.
Yeah, but like you said, most people don't know this stuff because
it's just
Ironman or triathlons kind of big triathlons kind of come and go. Like,
that kind of saddens me, So that kind of saddens me. The other thing that's always been a problem in our sport, so I don't think this is new, is just how expensive everything is.
Yeah.
The new bikes are all like, they're easily 10 grand now. And that's just making it hard for millennials and zennials to get into the sport.
Yeah.
And I just feel like when I go to races, the number of athletes that are over 40 and the number of athletes that are under 40 seems not
healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Not healthy for the future of the sport. Yeah,
exactly. And it makes me sad. I'd really like to see a way to kind of curb that if possible, or I mean, maybe it's not even possible, but I'd just like to see some sort of way to kind of bring the price of the sport back into check a little bit. I mean, I try to do my own, but I mean, my coaching is only $125 a month. Now I'm a third of the cost of most coaches. So
yeah,
I try to be mindful of that so that I can coach people who maybe otherwise wouldn't have a coach.
That's true. Yeah.
And I'd love to see people trying to, but yeah, the price of the sport is just really deep. So that's always been kind of an ongoing problem. So I think those are the two things that make me most worried about the sport. But I will say the thing I like most about the sport is, one, I'm really keen on the rise of these X-Tri races. They remind me of the old days of triathlon. They're run by locals who do it as a passion project. The race entries are very reasonable. The amount of money that goes back into the race seems to be incredibly high. They put on fantastic races, and they seem to be real passion projects for the race director. I love that. I love seeing that in the sport. And I think you're seeing versions of that, not just with the X-Tri series, which is kind of the iron distance, long ultra versions, but I see a lot of sprint triathlons that are just awesome. Like I've been going to a lot of small local races and just seeing how well run the ones that have, I think there was a little bit of, I think COVID had some attrition, but the ones that survived are really good races, and they're locally operated. They're run by either, a local charity or a local race director or a local club. And they're they're fantastic events. And I think that's really healthy for the sport. And I see that and I think, oh, the sport's doing good things and is really vibrant and strong and fun. You know, those races are super, super fun. We have a ton of them. I hope that's true everywhere. But if you live in the New York, New England, Northeast kind of area, you can find a good sprint triathlon every weekend. And each one is, you know, pretty well, for the most part, they're very well run and they have a really great vibe. And, you know, for me, my life, I just want the vibes, man.
That's true. So yeah, my observation with what happened is when Ironman came along, they standardized the distances. Okay. So then what that did is you could compare races around the world, because even though they're different terrains and stuff, but you're like, everything was standardized. It's kind of like the McDonald's or the Chipotle or whatever of triathlons, right? And so you knew what you were you could sign up for a race really far away and you knew what you were getting, right? And that was their success. And then so because it was standardized, but then with the money being funneled back into, you know, profitability for a company, right, then that kills it, because like one thing you just said was the money at the local triathlons goes back into the local triathlons to make the triathlons better and unique. Yeah. So okay, if this is my hot take for you, okay, if the spirit of gravel was a baby in your arms, yes, would you put it on a temple and worship it, or take it to the pool in the backyard and slowly submerge it and hold it under, or let it run free around in your yard? Ooh, I think let it run free around in my yard. Yeah, because I don't think gravel. I think that's what gravel would want. Knowing what I know of gravel is, and I think gravel wants to like be free. I don't think gravel wants to be like trapped in a job of being a god. I think that, you know, it needs that freedom to run around the backyard. Yeah, I was thinking like, what makes gravel interesting is because it's on gravel roads and it's so backcountry, it can't be so refined and like kind of like Ironman did, you know. And I have a theory, like maybe the future in triathlon is gravel. Because didn't Jan Frodeno tried to put on one of those? Maybe he still does a gravel triathlon. Yeah, and I would love. I'm doing one, by the way. Oh yeah, there's a weird race up in New Hampshire. I'll let you know how it goes. But half of the bike is gravel, and then you run up a. It's a short swim. It's a half-mile swim, then a 20-mile bike, but I think or like 15-mile bike or something. About half of it's gravel, half of it's road. Yeah, and then run a trail up 1,800 feet. Sweet. Yeah, it's like I was looking at the times, are 2 hours total, but I'm very curious how that goes. Yeah, everything in Vermont and Vermont especially, but New Hampshire, everything's gravel. Like nobody. Yeah, gravel riding has totally revitalized and absorbed and just boomed with biking in North America for sure. Right. It is so much safer. Biking, and so much more enjoyable than road biking. 100%. And so, you know, how is it going to finally start bleeding over into triathlons is interesting, because I think everybody's getting gravel bikes as like their training bike, and that's what we did. And then so you know, we've done a bunch of off-road triathlons that are more mountain bike based. You know, so that's definitely, I mean, obviously, right, Xterras and such. Sure. I actually did Xterra Maui and Xterra Richmond a few times, which was a big East Coast championship. The problem with Xterra was it required, they make those courses real. Like they're real. Like the Maui one is nuts, dude. I came down a screaming fast descent into a 3-foot vertical drop off wall. And they were like, good luck. Like, you can't do that. You don't like it, get off your bike. And you're like, well, how am I supposed to know this is here? Yeah, well, no. It's too late. I love everything about that race. But the problem is that's going to reach a very small number of people. Because most people can't handle that. But gravel, everybody can have the technical skills to ride gravel for the most part. I mean, Vermont has Yeah, well, like gravel might be more welcoming to people with even less skills than road biking. Actually, when I think about it,
Yeah,
because it's such a safer learning environment.
it's great. And here's the other thing too, that there's a off-road triathlon series in Hartford.
Uh-huh.
Genius about it is they can do the entire thing in a park on a closed course. They don't need permits. They don't need to mess with traffic. They don't need volunteers at every corner. They literally can just go out like you do with a cyclocross race or a mountain bike race, right?
Yeah.
And mark the course. And then you don't have any you don't have to worry about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it so much easier from a logistical perspective and cost perspective to put the race on. So gravel, if you find, especially talking about like a sprint, right?
Uh-huh.
If you find a 3 mile stretch of dirt road that happens to be somewhere accessible to a swim, you do that twice and you have the entire bike portion, and you don't have to close anything. You don't have to, there might be like one or two locals that like, live on that road, but that's about it.
Yeah.
It makes
they're going to come out and watch.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to make it so much easier for race directors.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to start seeing I think you're going to start seeing that.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see how somebody figures it out, because I'm wearing the t-shirt from it. A few years ago, I did this triathlon, and they've stopped doing it the way that they should do it. It was one of the options was the half Ironman. Okay. But, or half distance, whatever they call it. So the swim was 1.2 miles, half Ironman swim in a lake. And then there was a mountain bike trail that was 6 miles. Anyway, 3 miles, 6 miles, anyway, something like that. And then maybe it was 4 miles. It was pretty short. And then you alternated a lap of the mountain bike course, and then the run course was a trail run, like on Jeep Trail, around the lake. And it was like 2 miles. Okay. So you alternate bike, run, bike, run, bike, run. And so the swim, it's just one swim, right? And you get that out of the way. And then you bike and run, and the bike's longer than the run, like it should be in in a standard Ironman. So then, and then until you hit 5 hours, and whoever has the most laps wins.
Whoa, that's weird.
And I was like, because that's how you make it like a half Ironman, right? You make it. Most people finish a half Ironman somewhere around 5 hours. Okay. Yeah. Like average. And then, so that's how you do it. And I was like, man, that was freaking cool. And they did it 1 year, and then they shortened it to Olympic, and then now it's just a sprint. And I'm so mad. I was like, man, be so cool. So, but yeah. And then Heather Jackson, what do you think about her jumping into gravel racing?
Yeah, it looks awesome. She's gonna kill it.
And then also didn't she win like a trail run? She did a trail run.
Yeah. That's her thing.
Yeah.
Running.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I think one of the fun things about triathlon is that because you have these, this fitness in 3 different disciplines, you can go and explore like I did, right? You'd be like, I'm going to do ultra running. For me, I did ultra running with obstacles because I didn't want to lose to a bunch of super skinny guys. So like,
you're right. Yeah. You slow them down.
Yeah. I can't, top ultra guy, but I can beat a top ultra guy when he has to carry 100 pounds of sandbags. Yeah. Like, so that was those dudes aren't exactly upper body strong. So, but like, so you can do these cool things, right? Like Heather Jackson going to ultra running, or, I had a couple of, I coached a pro female, and she went and decided to become a Cat 1 cyclist. She could just, and there was a Chris Lieto, right? He was second. He raced professional as a roadie for a bit too. Spencer Smith, a pro from the 90s, did the same thing, went to road cycling for a while. Like you have these options, and I think that's fun. I think it's fun to try it, explore it, keeps it fresh. Like you're doing gravel racing now after, a long stint of triathloning. And I think that's really healthy. I think people need to embrace that,
Yeah. Okay. Let's wrap it up with, you have, I don't know, have you improved your swim, or are you just performing better? after all these years, you and I've swam together a bunch.
We have.
And we'd like to go up against one each other, and it's fun. We tease each other a lot. If you want to see on Instagram where I post like an awesome swim, John will make a comment like, well, that's nice job. Why didn't you swim faster or something?
Well, no, I mean,
and then I tease you too, back and forth.
You had a nice swim, 3 minutes slower than the exact
slow. Yeah.
But the thing about that is that like 3 minutes, when you think about it, that's just enough time to get out, change clothes, crack open a Coke, and stand there and laugh at you.
No, I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, you're being so nice all of a second. Okay, so anyways, yeah, John and I literally have swam side by side in a pool, like way too much. So but I can't wait to do it again sometime. So
agree.
You swam at, was it Lake Placid?
Yes, my personal best ever is 54:06 at Lake Placid.
That's freaking fast, yeah.
54:06 is pretty good.
Yeah, that's nice.
I swam 56 something at, I think 56:37 maybe last year in Canada, man. So
what does your swim training look like? You work part-time still, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm still like, I mean, I'm coaching more but yeah, I'm still not full-time at work.
You can't be a full-time pro or you're in between.
Yeah, I'm not entirely, I'm 48. I'm not entirely sure I'm a pro athlete anymore either. I think
you're elite.
Nobody told me.
Yeah.
I think I retired during COVID and like literally no one told me.
Yeah.
But to be perfectly honest, right? At some point when I went to the Spartan races, I lost my USAT pro card because you have to renew it. And I wasn't racing. And then I raced Israel as a pro. They just gave me a elite, like 1-day license to race Israel. And then I started doing the XTri races, and those are just open races. They don't care. There's no there's no pro to field at Norseman. Like you jump off the boat, you fucking go.
Yeah.
You jump, go. Like
I love those. Because you have to make that choice, right? You have to sit there and go, am I good enough to race open? You know?
Yeah. Well, no.
And then so then you have to, it's a question you have to ask yourself, am I gonna freaking race open or not? And I've done a ton of mountain biking racing, both short stuff, like regular mountain bike races, and then marathon mountain biking. And they have that. They have like these open categories and age group and stuff. And so road cycling does, CAT, very, very specific graduation program from CAT 3 to 2 to 1 or whatever. And mountain biking is the opposite. The categories exist, but you can just put yourself in them, and you're going to learn real quick. You're going to learn in one race whether or not you are Cat 2 or not. And I raced Cat 2 in a couple mountain bike races because that was the only way to get the longer distance. And I wanted to do the long distance, Cat 1, Cat 2, and some of the longer stuff. And then Cat 2, maybe Cat 3. You eventually settle in, like, which one do you get, like, top? You don't win, because once you start winning too much, then you need to move up.
Right.
But where you're combating against other people towards the end of the race, it's like the perfect category for you.
Nice.
And then, you were, so what's your, how often do you swim?
So I probably this year was the least I've ever swam. I would say as I was getting into Norseman, maybe 15K a week.
That's not bad. That's really good.
No, I mean, it's okay. When I swam 54:06, I was swimming 20K a week.
Okay.
Week after week after week. I mean, that was like that's religion.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Well, it's funny, as you age, you don't age in swim, bike, and run equally. You keep the swimming because it's so technique based. Yeah. So like my swim times haven't dropped off. Like I swam a 750 in a sprint and I held a 110 pace. Like that was, I can still do that. You really don't notice your age until you do the bike and then the run.
I think you keep getting faster on the bike until you hit your mid 50s.
You think that's true?
I think I saw studies that show that you can keep getting faster and faster and faster on longer stuff. You can keep building FTP, basically is what they're saying, until your mid 50s to 60s. because it's so, it's supportive, and it's not even technique. It's just straight outright power. So you can keep getting stronger. But then running, like, you fall apart because you're like, it's elasticity based.
Yeah.
And durability based and stuff.
So at this point in my life, at 48, like, don't need to swim as much as I used to. And with overall training volume needing to go down to aid in recovery, I just swim a little less. And I've noticed that it doesn't really affect me. But I wouldn't recommend you didn't swim 20,000 yards a week for a decade.
Right.
Like, I swim 20K, a lot before I got to the point where I could skate by with, 10 to 15K a week.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when I look back at it, I think it's funny. Like, I swam really hard for like 3 to 4 years in high school, and that's where I got good. So it's just 3 to 4 years. You know what I mean? And then since then, I've swam 20, 30 years, like improving technique and improving technique and improving technique. So it doesn't take tons of work to get that good at swimming. And then you maintain it.
I remember at your camp, we were doing a swim workout with Rich Roll, and he jumped in the having not swam at all, and was just beautiful and effortless and dropped all of us. And there was like you, me, Jesse Stenslin, she was an ITU pro at the time. Yeah. Like, I was pro at the time. Like, we were good. You're a good age group swimmer. Like, we were training, and he would, he swam Division I athlete, like, he doesn't,
Stanford swimmer, right? I think. Oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
There you go. Yeah, he was a Stanford swimmer, I think.
Exactly. So, like, you just don't lose that. That's like for life.
Yeah. That's what I'm counting on, dude. I want to be, there used to be years ago, an old guy that would show up at the pool with hearing aids in both ears and bent over. And he looked like he was about 90 years old. And I was like, I want to be that guy.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm 90. My goal is to be the fastest Ironman at 120 years old.
There's a guy at my pool who does that.
Yeah.
And as he hits the water, if he wants, he swims like a 150. But every once in a while, he'll just look at you, or like made him a little like surly, and he'll drop 115.
Yeah.
Nice. He'll have whenever he wants it. It's so funny. Yeah, he did that to me once because I was like, "Hey, man, you're kind of swimming slow for this late." He's like, "Oh, you think so?" And then he crushed it for like.
Yeah, he's been there, done that, dude. He can crank that out anytime he wants. Yeah.
That was great.
All right, dude. Well, I'm super excited to have you back on the show.
Yes,
you're my first interview since the pandemic, and I took a break from making shows. This is awesome.
Oh, well, it's great to be back on the back on the horse with you, man.
Couldn't have a better first guest back on. This is awesome. Sweet. Yeah, so we need to do more. It's so great talk. People don't know, like, you and I haven't even talked much verbally, like, and with whatever since the pandemic started. So we got a lot of catching up to do.
A lot of catching up.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's very exciting. Okay.
All right, cool.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Peace.
All right, that was awesome, man.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Thank you, Mr. Hirsch, for joining us to tell us about Norseman and then covering a bunch of other topics. Always appreciate it. And I'm leaving the pool. We're going to wrap this show up with just a quick note on swimming and what's coming up in the next episode. I'm now at the ZenTri mobile studios. Let's drop the tailgate, throw all this wet stuff in the bed of the pickup truck.
What vehicle do you automatically assume is being driven by a total asshole? Dodge Ram.
There we go. All right, next episode, we are going to be going to San Marcos, where Texas State is, where Kai is, and be doing a bunch of bike rides there, learning more about the town, the situation. It's halfway between Austin and San Antonio. The cycling there is incredible. And I like to call it the Durango of Texas, or like the Boulder of Texas, where it's on the edge of the hill country. So you can choose whether you want, for an easy day, to go east and ride the rolling, flatter terrain, or you can go west, just like in Boulder and climb. I've been looking at his workouts, and the vertical is just nuts when he goes west. Way more than the rolling side like we've got over here in the prairie. Let's see. Also, we have a new listener that I couldn't be more excited to have. It's ZenTri nurse. Emily has started to listen to episodes now. She's just now decided. And in typical Emily fashion, she's made lists of things that I should work on. And I absolutely love it. But also, I'm like, baby, you're about 18 years too late. The show kind of is what it is, and I've figured out the format that I like. And a lot of things about the show you think could be different or better. Oh, there's a nail. We do not need that in here. But over the years, I've tried different things, and some stuff is not sustainable. And not everybody listens to every episode, and not every episode is the same length. And no episode is the same. Some are interviews, some are not. She said, for example, you talked about those goggles too much last episode. And I said, well, yeah, that was the point. It was a review of the goggles. And then we're not going to talk about them much anymore after that, except just on rare occasion, like right now. But I just want to say one more time, it's so cool to have Emily finally listening. She's calling me and texting me from the road. She has to drive a lot for work. I said, I just listened to your episode, or I'm listening to it. It's so cool. I get to hear you talk about all the things that you thought you told me, but you didn't. So I get to be a companion with her. She's kind of a traveling nurse of sorts. Anyway, yeah, just wrapping up this swim, and I have a couple really cool comments. Let me go ahead and open up a carbonated water. One is that if you ever get in the water and start swimming and notice you have breathing problems pretty quickly and you think it's the chlorine, it's actually because you're dirty from the day before and you haven't showered off enough. Chlorine itself isn't the agent that gives you breathing problems in the pool and burns your eyes. It's actually chlorine combining with your body oil and dirt. And that's why they tell you to rinse off before you get in the pool. And mostly it's for little kids that are dirty, filthy, little boys and girls that like to play in the dirt. And as triathletes, we're not much different. Where I went for a bike ride last night and I was covered in dirt, but I made sure I rinsed off last night. And then today it wasn't a problem. I'm mentioning it because a couple of swims ago, I had breathing problems right off the bat. And I was like, oh, yeah, I should have rinsed off. Oh, and I also have a recovery bar right here. I have a choice. I have a Cliff Bar or an HEB bar. I think I'm going to eat the HEB. I'll spare y'all most of the chewing. Ooh, it's got coconut in it. That's good for you. It's got lots of fiber. So since starting swimming with the Form goggles, sorry, choking on something there. The Form goggles, I have increased my average speed by a couple seconds, maybe 3, maybe 4 seconds. No, I'd say 3 per 100 yards average. And I like to swim just over 4,000 yards per swim. 4,000 yards, 4,200 yards, or 1 hour, whichever one comes first. And I'm swimming faster, but you can't just attribute it to the goggles. So the goggles are telling me every lap, because it's a head-up display, and my eyesight, how fast was my last lap? And I'm like, oh, don't do that. And then I'll try a different technique, and I'm like, okay, that's better. And it tells me my average pace per my set, so I know if to pick it up or not. It's really cool. So that, plus the fact that when I was looking at my watch while I was swimming, that kind of messes up your stroke just a little bit. You're looking at your watch. You're having to roll a little bit extra, take a little bit more of a pause, and I don't have to do that anymore. And that allows me to work on my clean stroke a little bit better. Something that's really cool is how fast my stroke is without trying at all the first few laps. And then it slowly fades, and it's like, what is the difference? Is the form coming apart, or I'm not pulling as hard? It is dramatic, the drop. But anyway, it's not just the information in the goggles. A lot of it is having something new to play with that makes working out more excited. If you find yourself stagnant, stuck in a lull, and you want to improve something, workouts aren't that interesting anymore, and you're using some kind of older gear, if you have the funds for it, consider upgrading something or getting some kind of toy to play with while you work out. Works great on biking. Get a new bike computer, new set of wheels, and it'll be half, the performance improvement of newer equipment. Stuff keeps getting faster and faster and faster, but also is the performance improvement by the fact that you're enjoying working out more, and you're working out a little bit more, and that increase in volume helps you get faster, and that increase in enjoyment makes you look forward to the workouts more. And there's all these little marginal micro gains. I don't even want to call them marginal gains. They're like micro gains, and they add up. And just be patient, and you'll notice that you get faster and faster and faster. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I averaged a 127 pace for about 4,100 yards this morning. And a few weeks ago, that would have been a miracle. I would have had to kill myself to do that. And I was averaging, back then, like a 130, maybe a 131. And I'm not trying any harder. It's just happening with some new fun equipment to play with. So keep that in mind, and everybody stay safe out there. Work the uphills, cruise the downhills, and keep the rubber side down. Out.